I'm here at Farley House, Bath Rugby's training ground, with Funding Circle, official partner of Premiership Rugby, not to talk about what they're doing on the pitch. There might be a bit of that, but it's primarily to talk about what they're doing off the pitch. Now, rugby is a rough old game, but we're going to try and find out if it imbues its players with certain values and perhaps even a competitive edge which helps them when they start working in what we loosely deem the real world. I'm going to talk today to one of Bath's finest players, loosehead prop Beno Obano, who had an idea, made it real, and it's gone down very nicely indeed.
My name is Beno Obano, Bath Rugby player and director of Sydney Baby Media.
Beno, so we've come to your primary place of work, the Bath Rugby training ground, but we're not here to talk about rugby, we're here to talk about the stuff you do outside of rugby, on top of rugby. But I guess maybe, and I could be wrong, having one or two medium to long-term injuries actually gave you an opportunity to focus on something different, something more.
Weirdly enough, it wasn't actually injuries that did it for me, it was lockdown.
Right.
Lockdown gave me the opportunity to actually do what I thought about. So I thought about it for a while. Like when you play rugby, a lot of people say do stuff away from rugby, etc., etc. And we know the money that we make in rugby doesn't carry us forever. So it was sort of like, oh, lockdown came. I had these plans from before. Let me try and do them now. And that's why we're sitting here today.
But how do you go from sitting on the sofa thinking about it to actually putting it into action? Was there a big written plan? Was it a bit off the cuff? How'd you do it?
You know, at this time in my life, there was like this Mark Zuckerberg quote. And I can't fully remember it, but it's along the ideas of like, an idea never comes out fully formed. So I was just with the idea that I'll just start it. Like I know what I kind of want, and if I start, I'll get there in the end. There's also that aspect, and then there's the idea that I think I'm more than just a rugby player. Like I think I have these ideas that I think can change things. And if I think I have these ideas, I want to share them. And that's probably where it comes from. So that's why I thought the medium of sharing these ideas that I have is best through, the best messaging is through film.
So it brings you a sort of a creative fulfillment. Does it bring you joy as well? Do you actually love doing it? Do you love the process?
I love parts of the process. Like so I took a big risk on both my films. Like this is what usually doesn't happen. Usually what happens is you speak to a broadcaster says, we want this, you go make it, and then you give it to. I was like, Benz, you can do this. I think this is what rugby's just giving me some alienation or some idea that I'm better than I am. Because I went to go make it and I was like, I can sell this. I was like, it'll sell. I was like convinced, I swear to God, I was convinced that the first film I make is gonna sell.
You're already specking up cars on the internet.
Yeah. I'm not lying to you, I genuinely believed that I would be able to make a film and the film would be that good and Amazon and that. I remember saying it to someone, I couldn't bear to say it to anyone until like I actually had spoken to Amazon and they had said yes. But before that, I had it in my head that this was gonna happen. And I'd call my brother, like, this is what I'm gonna do. And people were a bit like, but the idea that we know what we're gonna do before, I'm not so sure. But I just had some supreme sort of confidence that I believed that I was going to be able to do it somehow.
A big part also of your day job as a rugby player is accepting mistakes, being accountable, being humble. You make mistakes every day. You're critiqued criticised and critiqued in front of millions, but in front of your colleagues, your peers, every day. This is normal. So does, oddly, as well as the confidence and the assertiveness, does that humility stand you in good stead when you enter what ultimately is a new world?
Well, essentially, like, confidence comes from like the understanding of your ability, like not anybody else. It's not really external. And in collision sports, you like get a lot of grace and humility because you're like one scrum or one tackle away from being on the internet or from being embarrassed. So it's just sort of like you have to understand that when it's good, enjoy it, and when it's bad, it's probably going to get bad pretty soon. Do you know what I mean? It's like success isn't really linear. So it's sort of like you can enjoy it for a little bit and you can be confident knowing what you're able or capable of, but you know that can change, or people's perception of you can change very quickly. So that just keeps you quite humble and keeps you quite grounded.
So what's next? Any big plans, any ideas?
There's actually one big plan, yeah.
Is there?
Yeah, there is actually one.
What is it?
I don't know if I actually can't say it on camera just yet. I genuinely can't. I wish I could. You'll know before everyone else does, Blacks, 'cause
That's it.
I have to ask you to be in it anyway, so you'll know before everyone else
I'm only
does,
round the
but-
corner. He only asked me because it saves on diesel. Benno, thanks. Good to chat.
Nice
Enjoyed
one,
that.
man.
I'm looking forward to hearing off camera what that big project is.